Hello, everyone in the Multifamily and More community. This is Jamie Gruber. I'm here with my partner, the Mr. Benny Malige. Say hi, Ben.
Hi, what's up, Jamie?
Hey, man, what's going on? It's much better hi than the last time.
Thank you.
Just saying, like,
Progress.
yes, we're moving forward. All right, we are back for our, second installation of a new series we're calling Meeting Minutes. This is where we take questions from the various groups we have, and we have 9, soon to be 10. Portland, Oregon, welcome. We're going to be bringing you online here pretty soon. So we take questions from the current 9 communities that are out there in our Facebook group, pull them together. If we don't know the answer, we'll research them, maybe even bring somebody on at some point to talk about them and answer them here. So we'll take 10 minutes, something like that, to go through. We have, I think, 3 questions this week that we'll touch on. And yeah, make sure that everybody that's asking gets their questions answered. So how'd I sum that up, Ben?
This was great as usual, Jamie.
He knows. He knows me. He knows greatness. He knows greatness. All right, Ben, let's dive in. So 3 questions. I'm going to start with the first one here. This question comes from Garrett in Southern Indiana. And his question is, I have a question about funding for deals. Is it best to have a deal ready before asking for funding, or to get the funding before I find a deal? It's the chicken and the egg, Ben. What are your thoughts? Funding before deal or deal before funding?
I would do both at the same time. But so 2 things. Number 1, I would get a credibility book. Very, very important. That's what was taught to us, and that's what we did. Just outline your, buying criteria, get laser focused on what you're trying to acquire, how you plan on acquiring it, how are you going to finance it, what's your market, what will your exit strategy be. And then number 2, I would, if you don't have if you don't have a deal, and I'm assuming this person doesn't yet, just go on LoopNet, find a deal, or just make a deal, and underwrite it as you would, any normal deal, and just create a little investor package or a presentation, and then go to talk to the people you want to talk to about potentially funding deals one day for you. Go with your credibility book and that deal sample, and go through, over the deal with them, and kind of explain what you're trying to do, that this is the kind of deal that you will, that you're actively looking for, and see if they have any interest. And if one day, just ask them if they want to hear from you, if and when you find a deal like that. That's what I would do.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And I think I'll add to that, email address is powerful. So I agree completely with Ben. Make your credibility book, make your sample deal packet, let people know about what you're doing, put it on social media, define yourself. One of our mentors would say this: define yourself as a multifamily investor, not just something you do, but it's who you are. So that when you do talk to people, you can say, hey, let me show you exactly what I can do as far as getting you the returns and so on and so forth. And when the time comes, hopefully you've built and cultivated a relationship with this person so that they will fund your deal, or maybe they won't. But the idea is, get their email address, get all of their email addresses, and fill up the room with capital. So, if you have commitments of $2, $3, $4 million from however many people might be available to you, but your first deal, you're only gonna have to raise $500,000 or $1 million. You want $2, $3, $4 million worth of capital commitments, so that you can potentially, hopefully, get a quarter of those people. Let's say if you have $4 million, giving you the $1 million you need for this deal. Get their email address, make a distribution. You can go on MailChimp and create an account, something like that, and stay regular. Create a mailing campaign. Let them know what you're working on a month-by-month basis. Talk about, I've analyzed this many, whatever it is, to come up with some sort of criteria or some sort of layout for you to message your potential investors, so that you're staying front of mind with them, that you're active, that you're doing this. So when it does come time, that you can say, hey, I've got this deal and here we go. So yeah, it's great advice, Ben. I think you do both at the same time. And I think you definitely have to be raising funding all the time.
Yeah, by the way, we were talking about the credibility book. That's not something that we came up with. We would, gladly share our template with, anyone that wants it. Just email, was it Jamie at cfassetgroup.com?
No, even better, go to cfassetgroup.com. just go right to our website, and there's a section there for you to fill out your info, and you'll get on our mailing list, and we'll send you our credibility book. So cfassetgroup.com, CF like cash flow, assetgroup.com to get that. But yeah, I agree, Ben. It's a great tool. You can email me as well, Jamie at CF Asset Group, either way. But it's a great tool to utilize, and it's helped us. It's helped us along the way. I mean, in fact, just thinking about, like, you know, if you're calling investors or potential investors, brokers, whatever, it was so helpful for me to be able to call and say, my name's Jamie. I'm an investor. I have a set of criteria I'd like to send to you. If you wouldn't mind taking a look at that, I'll follow up with you in a couple of days so we can maybe schedule a time to go to lunch. You send it to them. It's a great way to make that first phone call without stammering and stumbling around. You send it to them and then follow up in 2 or 3 days. Hey, did you have a chance to look over my criteria? What questions can I answer, if any? Can I take you to lunch sometime, or whatever the case may be? It's just a really nice, like, business card to walk in with and set yourself up that first time on a first call. So what else, Ben?
On this, I think that's pretty much what I have right now.
We brought it home. Mic drop. That's what Benny Ben does. You're yeah. I think on the video, it's not going to show anything except the sound afterward of you dropping it.
That
But
works.
that's okay. But yeah, that's a great question. So thank you for that. Thank you for that, Garrett. So, all right. Second question comes from Anthony in South Florida. And the question I think we understand it. So we're going to try to answer it the best we can here. But question is, what are your thoughts on working with a commercial real estate agent to find, analyze, and sell you properties? So what are your thoughts on working with a commercial real estate agent to find, analyze, and sell you properties? Ben, how do you take the question?
So I'm not sure I understand the question. If he's talking about a commercial broker, then, you know, the answer would be yes. The commercial broker can certainly help you to find deals, analyze deals, and sell you properties. If he was talking about a residential real estate agent, I'm not so sure. We've had some difficulties at the beginning. I remember I think it was one of the first deals we put an offer in was listed by a residential real estate agent. She did not understand the numbers. She was still, you know, she was talking about comparables and it was just complicated. It's a different game. It's just a different world. So
Yeah, it's a good point. It was a residential agent who was acting like a commercial real estate agent. So like you said, the question is I think I get where they're getting at, but here's what I would say. Even if a commercial broker is working with you on underwriting deals, finding them, helping you sell them, all that stuff, that underwriting piece you have to be mindful of. So a lot of brokers that I've seen anyway will put in a package, say like a 5% management fee. Now, maybe on a 100, 200, 300 unit property, you can get, you know, those kinds of management fees. But on a 20, 30 unit property or whatever, it'll still be underwritten at a 5% management fee. But the reality is you probably want to underwrite that between 10 and 12%. The reason for that is you're going to pay 8 to 10% monthly of all rents, or maybe even a minimum if your rents are low enough of $100 a month, which may be more than 10%. But also you have lease up fees. So when you are turning a unit, your manager is gonna find a tenant for that, and they'll charge you. Could be a flat $500, could be a month's rent, or whatever the case may be. So even if you are working with a commercial broker, on the underwriting side, make sure you're doing your own numbers. Make sure you're doing your own analysis to get at what you think the value of this property should be. Does that make sense, Ben?
yeah, and even better than that, if you're networking with brokers, which you should be doing, just send those deals to the brokers, to the lenders. I'm sorry, because, you know, that's what they do all day. There's no one better to. I mean, even if you end up getting under contract, they will end up underwriting the deal. So
It's true.
might as well work those relationships and send it over to them. They're going to do it in a quick second and tell you the truth based on how it's going to be underwritten by the bank.
It's a great point. It's a great point. That'll cut out all the fluff of, is this enough or not enough or whatever the case may be. That's a really good point. All right, cool. So one more question that we have from the community, and this is why we're called Multifamily and More. So this is more of a more question. And the question is, do you guys know, I'm sorry, this comes from Misato. I hope I'm saying that okay, in Michigan, Royal Oak, Michigan, to be specific. So the question is, do you guys know if it's legal to open an Airbnb in a non-homestead property? It says, I heard about a couple in Colorado who had one on a non-primary home and they were breaking the law without knowing it. Where can I get reliable information? So Ben, you are not Airbnb experts by any stretch,
Nope.
right? Unless you know something I don't.
That's why I'm going to keep my mouth shut on this one.
So we had to reach out on this one. So Austin Linney of Kaizen Rentals, Kaizen Rentals, I think his website is kaizenrentals.com, they're an Airbnb management company. So they manage Airbnbs all around the country. And he gave me this answer, and pretty much it depends on the city's laws. He gave a couple of cities where it's against the law and some cities where you can do it, but you just need a permit. But his point was, look, call the county clerk's office to that last question of where can I get reliable information. They'll be able to answer the question and or point you in the right direction. So that's the best answer that I got from an expert. To further that though, that's actually good timing. So as we record this, it's July 2nd, 8 days from now, July 10th, we have our virtual meetup. If you're not familiar with our virtual meetup, once a month, every second Wednesday of the month, from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. As a benefit to all of our members across the country, we do 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock Eastern, we do what's known as a virtual meetup, which is essentially a Zoom webinar with me as your humble host and some sort of guest of prominence who knows something really specific on a topic. Could be, multifamily, could be more like mindset or whatever. This month is Airbnb. Mike Shogren is his name. He's going to come on. He runs an Airbnb company. He's out of Boston, and he's not only going to talk about things like this and answer questions like this about where you can, where you can't, and what are the best resources to utilize to find out what's legal and what's not. But he's also going to teach you how you can systematize the Airbnb business down to 1-2 hours a week to manage it, how you can really cash flow heavily without putting much, if any, money out, how you can run property without owning it. I mean, just really, really fascinating stuff. In order to be part of that, you need to register for the webinar. We have 100 seats. Those seats do go fast. I think this month's going to be a very, very enticing topic for people to jump in on. So make sure you put your name in, register for the webinar, and even if you have just, a curiosity about Airbnb, listen to the first 5-10 minutes. And if you're not intrigued, jump off. But I have a feeling that you'll stay on and want to hear more about his systems. He'll have a PowerPoint. He'll bring it up. He'll talk through all the different phases of management that he goes through and how he gets them up and running, how he keeps them running, how he has to manage them very little as he goes. So virtual meetup, you can go to the events tab and all of our groups, find it there. The registration link is in that events tab. You'll see a big picture of Mike right on the front. And I'd love for you all to join us on July 10th so we can get the answer to this and many more Airbnb related questions. So Ben, what else? What else is on your mind tonight?
Sleep. That's what's on my mind tonight.
Hey, no rest for the weary, Ben.
Properties, work, video editing, and I got to create that. What's the last group we're opening? Sorry.
Portland.
There you go. That's what I'm going to be working on tonight.
Mr. Aid. We may have another one after that. Just a heads up. But Portland's coming live. I'm really excited about Portland. Actually, there's I think a lot of opportunity out there for folks either looking to invest locally or really probably folks looking to connect with groups like ours where, Michigan, Southern Indiana, where there's really highly investable assets more so than there are on the coasts. So I think it's going to be a really, really cool group to have on. So happy to have you in advance, Portland. We'll be getting you up and running sooner rather than later. So that's it for meeting minutes, I think, Ben.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a great time. Keep bringing this to you. Post up some comments below. Let us know if this is valuable, if we can do anything differently or better. Be happy to adapt as our audience sees fit. But thank you all for the support. Thank you all for being a part of our communities, and we look forward to continuing to network with you. Snoop, Benny, Ben, what else you got?
Good night.
Good night it is. Thanks, everybody.